Tinnitus led to tragic death of British holidaymaker. A British holidaymaker fell to his death from a hotel balcony after he lost his balance because he was suffering from tinnitus, an inquest heard. Heating and ventilation engineer Sam Hill was on holiday with friend Roland Sands in Magaluf on September 11 last year when he fell just 6 feet from the emergency escape balcony at the Hostal Villa de Sol. The 22-year-old Sam Hill, who fractured his skull in the fall, had also been suffering an ear infection, which could, in combination with the alcohol, have caused him to lose his balance, said Assistant Bradford Coroner Roger Whittaker, who recorded the death as a circumflex, a tragic accident. The balcony railing was 2.8 meters high, but Mr. Hill, being taller than most men, could have toppled over it more easily when for others it would have been difficult to do, added Mr. Whittaker. At an inquest in Bradford yesterday, Coroner Sam Cariss recorded a verdict of accidental death caused by head injuries. He attributed the fall to a combination of Mr. Hill's tinnitus and alcohol which he had consumed with his friend. The coroner said, "A circumflex. What we can assume happened is that Sam, due to his tinnitus, had overbalanced on the balcony and fell. A circumflex." Referring to Mr. Hill's relatively short plunge, Mr. Cariss said his skull was thinner than most people's. He told Mr. Hill's family and girlfriend, who sat in court, a circumflex he would have had to overbalance over the balcony. A circumflex. This is just a tragic accident. A circumflex. The inquest heard that Mr. Hill's sense of balance was skewed due to his condition. He had booked an appointment with a GP about his tinnitus just days before his holiday at the resort on the Spanish island of Mallorca. Mr. Hill was prescribed antibiotics, which the coroner acknowledged may have reacted badly with the alcohol that he and his friend drank during their holiday. The inquest heard that Mr. Hill, of Riddlesden in West Yorkshire, had been on a night out with his friend when they lost each other. He walked back to his hotel alone, but 10 minutes later was found dead by Alexander Campbell, a British man on holiday who was listening to music in the next room and heard someone fall, the court heard. Gareth Elms, a British police officer who was also on holiday, had seen Mr. Hill with his head on the grass. The inquest heard that Mr. Elms moved Mr. Hill to the first-floor hallway and carried out CPR in a bid to resuscitate him, before calling for an ambulance, but there was no sign of a pulse. When paramedics arrived, they pronounced Mr. Hill dead just as his friend arrived back at the hotel. Mr. Hill had been due to fly home to West Yorkshire later that day. Mr. Cariss added that Mr. Hill's death had been a loss of life too early. "I can only try to imagine how difficult this has been for you," he said to Mr. Hill's parents, Vanessa and Steve, brother, Tom, and girlfriend Jodie Corbett. "I wish you well as you treasure memories of happier times." After the hearing, Mr. Hill's father said, "He was just a lovely man with a great life ahead of him, sadly cut short. He will be greatly missed."